What up, guys? Coach Joe here. It's Technique Tuesday. This is my son, Aiden Rouse. Hopefully he will be a coach one day. He's also a football player, so we do get him in here for some of his strength training. He is 10 years old, and this is a good time to start him as long as you have a qualified professional to teach 10-year-olds how to lift. One of the things we like to use with our 10-year-olds, as well as our adults, when we're teaching them how to squat, if they've never done it with a bar on their back or on the front, is a goblet squat. So we like to use a dumbbell or a kettlebell in a goblet squat, and it got its name just by kind of holding the weight sort of like a wine glass. But we hold it a little bit differently here. We feel like we can generate more tension that way, and I'll show you that in just a second. But what's really cool about the goblet squat is when the butt goes back, right? It goes back, and you have to lean forward a little bit to balance yourself. The kettlebell is out in front, and it acts as a counterbalance and generally allows somebody to keep a more upright spinal position throughout the full range of motion, which is pretty important for most people when they squat. Now, different people are going to squat different ways based on the length of their femurs, based on how long or their torso is. But generally speaking, what's cool about a goblet squat and sometimes a front squat is that weight is in front of them, which allows them to pull away from it, and it acts as a counterbalance, which is better posture, and there's a little bit less shear forces in the lower spine. And that's generally a good thing. So Aiden's going to do what we call a clean with a kettlebell. He's going to clean it up. He's going to pop. Bring it to there. He's going to have his fingers wrapped around the top. That's not the most important part. No, we're good right there, buddy. And then his hands kind of jammed into these corners on the kettlebell. Now, when we squat, we're going to pull the elbows in nice and tight. A lot of people like to go here, and it requires a lot of work to hold the bell up. We want those elbows in tight. And as he drops into this squat, his elbows should stay under that bell. So he's overthinking it a little bit now. Stand up, buddy. Just do the squat for me like we did earlier. So that was better. Go ahead and stand up. Let's go. So one thing we watch for on squats with people is where their knees are and where their feet are. So if you look at him right now, his feet's turned pretty far out. When we turn our feet out, it's very hard to generate something called torque up here in the hips, which also activates the hips so that they can keep our knees in a good place and helps create tension throughout the whole lower body. So what he's done now is kind of straighten his feet out. Go ahead and bring that kettlebell around, buddy. He's going to bring it up, and he's just going to stick his butt back and squat, push his knees out nice and hard. There you go. Drive back up. So we want most of our weight on the heels in a goblet squat. Let's go 3 of those, dude. So right now he's bending his knees a little early. Push that butt back. I'm just going to block him. There we go. That's a much better hips dominant squat. If he bends his knees too early, the knees are going to take a lot of that force. So we have to make sure he gets it from his hips. Now we don't get that technical with our kids, but with him he's a little bit used to it. So we're going to turn him sideways. We're going to show you the goblet squat from the side. So he's going to clean it up. Keep his elbows in nice and tight. Make sure, get good straight feet. There you go. Let's show him that squat, how to do it with your hips, buddy. Go ahead. So he stuck his butt back. Back stayed nice and straight, and most of his weight's on his heels. Those are the 3 things we mostly focus on with squats is butt back, knees out, weight through your heels. It's very, very similar on a deadlift as well. Let's go a couple more of those from the side. Can you clean that up for me? Let's go 3 squats. So that time you saw his knees go forward. Really sit back. Sit back on that toilet. There you go. 1. See, that's okay if that happens. Go ahead. Let's go 2 more, buddy. You got it. Attaboy. That's it. 1 more. A little bit lower. There you go. All right. Stand tall. Go ahead and bring that kettlebell down. All right. So on Technique Tuesday today, my guest Aiden demonstrated some goblet squats for you. A goblet squat is just holding a dumbbell out in front or a kettlebell out in front. It's great because it allows your body to pull away from something, so it acts as a counterbalance and allows you to keep your back nice and straight. 3 main things you want to focus on a goblet squat to do it safely, or really any squat. Keep the weight on your heels, push your knees out, and then stay nice and tight through that torso. All right, guys, have a great Tuesday. Thanks, buddy.